Hey everybody. Sorry I promise you, I have much more skill as a crochet published designer than I do a live streamer. So after two pages of copious notes on how to go live on YouTube with an encoder this time instead of the spontaneous method, um, I still didn't get it, but it was a valiant effort, and every effort is one step closer to good. So I think Carlene might be with us. So Carlene, if you could make a little note whether or not you can hear me and see me. Deb Johnny is in. Moose Gal, hello. I think your name was Christine, if I remember correctly. Carlene, you found me. Excellent. Welcome. Hey, Karen. Good to see you guys. So as people start to roll in, I assume you can hear me and see me okay. Thank you so much. I'm not going to be able to read your comments quite as as well as I usually can. Thank you, Ruth. I appreciate you telling me because I switched to my phone when my live stream dropped out. Christina. Okay, Christina. I'm trying really hard. Names are very important. And so we will continue to work. Okay, so there's a lot of items on my agenda. I want to wait till a few people pull in, but I want to give you a short agenda of what we're doing today. So hit that thumbs up if you don't mind while we're here. So today, the information that I'm giving you is all about if you've ever dreamed of being a crochet designer, maybe you want to make some money from home, maybe you'd like to quit your real job. Hey, Brian, thanks for being here. So those are kind of some things that I think, questions that you all have had, and I'm going to answer them. And I'm going to answer them for free, and I'm going to give you a bunch of information. Hi there. But also I wanted to let you know that since I'm giving you all the information for free, if you could do me a favor, well, a couple tiny favors. If you could hit the thumbs up button. Hello, thank you. If you could hit the thumbs up button, make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notifications bell. Hello, Karen, a channel member, Karen. Hello, thank you. That's how you can pay me for this free information. If you can subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, and the biggest favor of all is watching the channel. As much as you watch the channel, it helps me every single time you watch the channel, so thank you so much. If there's a video that, oh, I'm so glad you did. Okay, well, we'll work on some of your questions. Another way that you can help out is if you have a video on my channel that you particularly like, that you think someone would find useful, please share it with them. Please share it on Facebook, or share it in an email, or hit the share button and send it to Twitter or wherever you feel comfortable. So I'm giving you all this information for free today, as much as I can give you in this live stream that will help you with your crochet journey. Thank you, Christina. So in return, just if you could do some of those little things for me, I'd appreciate it. Okay, shall we get started? So the reason you should listen to me on this topic, because I actually searched it on YouTube, and I didn't know any of the people who came up as the experts on crochet, selling crochet designs, but I've sold over 400 designs, and I've been in all the magazines except for Vogue. And I published 6 books, so I've got a little bit of experience. Oh, by the way, I used to be the editor of Crochet Magazine, and so I used to buy patterns. So I want to show you some examples. I have some examples here for you of design submissions that would be useful. Did you guys see on either my Facebook, Go Crochet Facebook page, or on my community tab on the YouTube channel, there was a list of 3 links. Hopefully you guys have it. Yeah, oh yeah, I was on TV. Thank you. There was a list of 3 links, and I had them all written out for you, but then things went awry. I won't get them for you again. The 3 links were Interweave Crochet Magazine currently has a new submission call out, and that is what prompted this video that made me think, oh, I wonder if people would like to talk about that. So there's that link. So if you go to Interweave Crochet, and then I'll get you the links and put them in the description below. After this video, it'll take an hour probably, and for this video to upload, and I'll have all the links in the description below. So if you go to the pages of the magazines that you're interested in selling to, then each magazine will have something on their website like submission guidelines, editorial calendar, submission form, something like that. Okay, so you want to find those. And I'm also compiling a document for you guys, a PDF. So even though I'm going to just give you everything for free and you can just have it for free and you don't owe me anything, but some thumbs up and some subscribes and some shares. If you want all of this information in a nice tidy little PDF, I'll give you details on how to get that document later. So the first tip is to go to the website of every place that you think you would fit in with your work. So there's Love Crochet, I Like Crochet, Crochet exclamation point, which is the one I used to be the editor of, Interweave Crochet. There's a new one out called We Crochet that's part of Knit Picks. Crochet Today is now gone. Crochet Fantasy is now gone. Crochet World is still here. So I'll go to all the different magazines, get familiar with the magazines. And also if you're on Ravelry, and you can see what types of things they buy, like who their audience is, like who, what type of style do they buy. So for example, stereotypically, Vogue has a more trendy, cutting edge, avant-garde, high fashion in general look to them. But Crochet World has a more practical, yarns from stores that are readily available. Mara, I just started, honey. Probably like an hour, but go ahead. Crochet World has like practical, baby layettes, kitchen items, some sweaters and garments, some accessories. So like you need to look at the niche of like what each magazine sells and decide what your personal style fits into. Because if you submit a kitchen item to Vogue, they're not going to take that because that's not what their target is. And vice versa, if you submit a high fashion, avant-garde, kind of edgy, high design kind of item to Crochet World, that may not be their audience either. I know it's not their audience. So Crochet exclamation point and Crochet World are both owned by Annie's. So I used to work, my cube was right next door to Jackie Doherty, who is the editor of Crochet World. So we worked very, very closely together. And often those magazines would share like, oh, this one really isn't my audience, but could you use it? But anyway, so I have a kind of an intimate working knowledge of Crochet World as well. Okay, so first of all, your designs have to fit the magazine that you're going for. So Interweave Crochet, and you should be familiar with what they've already done. So I would do your research on like what they've been looking at lately, what they've been buying lately, what's already been done so you don't redo it, what colors. So in their submission call, their editorial calendar call for work that just came out, they want design ideas by May 29th, I think it said. So they are looking at, here, I printed it all off. They are looking at items for the October, let's see. Okay, it didn't even say did it say even what issue? Okay, so they have contributor guidelines. So they've got this 4-page document on their website that you can download. It's like what they expect. And so they are looking for one particular issue right now. They are looking for spring 2021. So this is what their website looked like. They are looking for spring 2021 designs. So these designs will publish in January, okay, for their spring issue. And submissions are due Friday the 29th of May. Okay, so you've got 2 months to come up with some ideas. Now on their website, under this inspiration photo, these items in red are links. So the submission, they have some submission guidelines. So there's like a couple pages of what their magazine is about, what they're looking for, how they want submissions done. And they have a submission form that is supposed to be included with every submission. Now I'm going to talk more about a specific submission, and I've got several good examples to show you. But this is the form that they want with each item, or with your like collection of items. So this one you can enter up to 4 items on this piece of paper. But this piece of paper for Interweave Crochet has to accompany your proposal. Okay, so and on this form it'll ask you for the title of the item. So you should give your title, your item a title. For example, if you were making a scarf, you might call it, I don't know, Raspberry Dream Scarf or whatever. You can call it whatever you want. Now they'll probably change the name, just warning you. But if you come up with a good one, it's a good brainstorm for them to like, oh, oh yeah, that works. Or if you name it like Raspberry Dream Scarf or whatever, because it's like raspberry color, but they already have lots of pink things and they want your scarf to be blue, well then they're not going to call it Raspberry Dream, and they'll come up with a new name for it. So come up with a title for your item, but know that it's probably going to change. But give it the best shot you can, because if they like it, they'll take it. And then you'll list like the materials that are listed in your project. So if it's a scarf, you would say, you know, I used you know, Cascade Heritage yarn in color 621 Hunter Green or whatever. And then you give your item a description. So you would be like, oh, this lovely lacy scarf is worked on the bias and is generous enough to wrap twice or something. You would come up with a description that you think is going to sell, like the key features of your item and why they should buy it. Okay, so Interweave Crochet requires this form comes with your proposals, but other magazines don't have a form. And so every magazine has their own way of doing things. So that's why it's important that you go to each website and see what their submission guidelines are. Okay, so submission guidelines are the rules for how you make a proposal. Okay, an editorial calendar is the schedule of when they're going to do stuff, when they're going to ask for their proposals, when the proposals have to be in, when a decision will be made, when the item will be printed or published, and when you'll get paid. So the editorial calendar, every company has one, and you can get on their list, their email list, to get on their email list to get the editorial calendar. Okay, so editorial calendars are something that I would add to that PDF document that I'm going to put together for you guys. So you would email the companies that, and I'll find you some of these emails. You'll email or follow the contact us, you know, there's probably a contact us address and stuff on all of these things, and ask them to please put you on their editorial calendar. That means when there's a call for designs, like I got in my email box that triggered me to do this video, it said, you know, Interweave Crochet Magazine, call for designs, spring 2021. It's like, oh, okay, it's time to design for spring. So from the time you get the email that says it's time, and sometimes they give you like their themes or color schemes or what their chapters are going to be, then you try to design for those specifically, because that's what they told you that they're looking for. However, if you have a fantastic design idea, but it doesn't fit one of the things that they're asking for, as long as it's still spring, I'd go ahead and submit it anyway, because they may not know what they want until they see it and they're like, wow, that's an out of the box idea that we didn't have and we'd really like that. So then they might buy it anyway. But don't send in like a heavy wool Sherpa blanket for spring. Like that's just not gonna go. So try to target your ideas based on what they want, but be true to yourself in being designy, in designing things that you would want, that fit their target audience, that fit their themes, and that you're excited about. Because if you're not even excited about making your own item, then people in the magazine aren't going to be excited about making it either. So, okay, so what does a submission look like? So in general, in the past, Interweave Crochet has only wanted submissions in the mail, like actual submissions in the mail. But with this whole coronavirus thing, it looks like they're doing electronic submissions or email submissions. So there's two different kinds of submissions. One is a physical mailed package. Okay, so let's talk about each one. So I used to do this all the time. Now I have not submitted to magazines since I quit when I was in the magazine, my magazine, Crochet. I used to only do design for them. And then afterward, I just got busy with books and YouTube and stuff. So I used to send this. I used to send a folder. It was always a blue folder, because I wanted them, when they had a stack of submissions come in the mail, I wanted them to see, oh, a blue folder. Like they could see from across the room, oh, there's a blue folder. Oh, that must be Ellen Gormley. You know, like, so I used to do a blue folder, always a blue folder, always this folder, so that they would know when they had the stack that it was me. So like they'd have a stack of manila envelopes, but then suddenly there'd be a blue one in there. It's like, oh, that must, oh, there's something from Ellen Gormley in there. Let's take a look at that. So just a hint. So I used to send, this isn't the only way to do it though, and I'm going to show you a couple other ways to do it. So I used to send this. So on the cover of, on the front page of my folder was this sheet. And so here's an example. I would like give a little description, a title, long Tunisian ruffle vest, and then I had bullet points of like what was special about my design. Then I had this really rudimentary, terrible little sketch because I don't draw well. And also in the PDF, I can like give you hints on how to sketch like even people and stuff, so that you can, and you can color it in with color and stuff. I suggest you do the best you can with your sketch. It's not a tragedy if you're not good at sketching, like that's okay. What's more important is the swatch. So I made a swatch, and because I don't sketch well, I went ahead and just took a really good photo of my swatch. And here you can see, this is the part of the vest that I'd made in the swatch. So this is the shoulder, here's the neckline, here's the armhole. And so you can see, hopefully, by my swatch, that I had already figured out like how to do the shaping, how to do the armhole. Like I already had a plan on how I was going to execute this vest, and this gives them an idea of what the fabric would look like, what the detailing would look like, what the construction would look like. But I did not make the whole vest. Okay, you don't have to make the whole item. So you don't have to make the entire blanket to submit a blanket. You need to give a swatch that's big enough for them to see what the drape is going to be like in the yarn that you suggested, and like what your stitching abilities are, and that you have these design problems solved already, because they want to know that if you put together a proposal that you can follow through. So I suggest a one-page resume proposal like this. So I blocked out my name and address, and email is up here. So I got a logo, but it's not critical, but make it kind of pretty, and then use the same format over and over again. So make the best format you can, the template that you can, and then just use it over and over again. It becomes part of your identity system. So your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address. Then you want the title of your swatch, some key bullet points on how awesome it is, a demonstration that you know what you're doing, a game plan of what it might look like. And then down here, I put like the specific yarn that I was proposing to use. You would also put like what sizes you know, is this for a woman? Is this for a child? Like you kind of give some of those details down here. And that's pretty much really all you need in a one-page emailed submission. Okay, make sure your photograph is on, like, this is just on a white sheet behind there. It's not distracting, clearly. I mean, I didn't even notice it. It's just a white sheet. And so you want your swatch to really stand out. Now, I think this submission was originally for Interweave Crochet, and they didn't buy it, but it's okay. And so I actually mailed them the swatch too. Now they don't usually return swatches or proposals, so be ready for that. If you mail in an actual swatch, you're not going to get it back. Probably, like, they don't want to pay money for shipping to mail it back to you. So here's my swatch, and here's the ruffle, and so they can feel it, and they can touch it, and they can see I had a clue what I was doing, and so that's great. But remember, if you mail them your swatch and you're not getting it back, then if they buy it and you have to make it without your swatch. So you better either make 2 swatches, one for you to keep, or keep incredibly awesome notes and photos of your swatch. I don't even remember how I got this one back, frankly. With my swatch is a tag. And hold on a second. My business card. So I just use my business card as my tag on my swatch, my name and address, logo, phone number, email address. And on the back, I had handwritten Tunisian ruffled duster vest and the yarn that I was proposing, so that they knew, like, if this got separated from the folder, they would know like what it was and who it was for and stuff. Okay. So I didn't end up selling this one, but I did end up selling something very similar to Margaret Hubert's book, Runway Crochet. So like this submission, I guess, I don't even remember, it was a long time ago, and didn't make it for whatever reason. And so when I got the word back that it wasn't going to be in, that they didn't choose it, then you're free to submit it somewhere else. But you cannot, do not ever, you listening? Do not ever send the same idea more than one place at the same time. Okay, because what if they both want it? Then what do you do? You know, and they don't want to think that you're giving somebody else your best stuff. You know, so don't ever send the same idea to multiple places at the same time. Send it to where you think it's going to do best and has the best chance of winning. And then if it gets rejected, then you pull it back in, you make sure it's all in a nice, neat package for the next place, and then send it to the next place. So if this one requires a submission form, then you do that. But then when you get it back, you take apart the proposal. And if this one does not have a submission form, or they have a different submission form, redo the form, and then make sure those criteria are all hit, and then send it out again. Okay, but always keeping an eye on where everything is. So you probably ought to keep a spreadsheet of like, oh, you know, the ruffle vest, Tunisian, sent off to Interweave submission April 28th, and then, you know, June whatever, it was returned. Okay, I'm going to reprocess it, send it back out to Crochet Magazine May of, 29th, you keep track, okay? You keep track of where everything is. That way you don't accidentally send it to the wrong places. And while you're waiting to hear back on this one, you design some more, okay? So it's not unusual for you to have, yes, they do. It's not unusual for you to have like 24 designs in process. These 4 are sitting in those hands, and these I'm designing right now, and these are waiting for yarn to arrive so I can actually make them. These are I'm making right now. These I've made and sent back, and I'm waiting to get paid, or I'm waiting for tech editing. So those kind of things. And Carlene asked a moment ago, do they ever hold items for the next issue? And they will. And they should ask you first. Or it's kind of tricky. So on Annie's, which is Crochet Magazine and Crochet World, on their editorial calendar, I used to list the date that I was going to start making decisions, okay? And it might take me a week to go through all the submissions, choose which yarns I want, choose which colors I want, make sure that all my advertisers are happy, make sure that each advertiser is represented, make sure I have the right mix of garments, accessories, whatever. But oh man, I've got this great design, but I can't fit it in right now and I still want it. Then yes, I would email the person and say, I really loved your design, but I couldn't fit it in this issue. Can I keep it for the next issue, or can I keep it for 2 issues ahead? Because you think, like, if I'm working on summer issue, will it fit in with fall? Maybe. Will it fit in with winter? Probably not. You know what I mean? And so, or they might say, can you resubmit this to me next year? Which is a long time to wait, for a year to go by to resubmit. But yes, they can ask you to. It really does well when they like ask you to. Oh, good. I'm glad you're taking notes. To, like, if it's a fall item, it can be held to winter, and spring can kind of be held to summer. But really, winter doesn't always do well in spring. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be logical. But yeah, sometimes they'll ask you if they can hold it. That really works well for like the kitchen-y stuff and purses and things that are a little more seasonless. Okay, so I wanted to show you a couple of really good submissions. So, my buddy, Robin Chichula, Crochet by Faye. I'll give you, I use her book a lot. She's got a lot of good books. Blueprint Crochet and Baby Blueprint Crochet, and she's got several books. Anyway, she submitted, here's an example of a winning submission. She is a much better sketcher than I am. Let me cover up her phone number. Let me just fold that over. She, of course, is a well-known designer, and if you guys don't know who some of these designer names are, you maybe should research them because they're winners and learn to see what they do. So this is a one-page gorgeous submission, and from this, yeah, she's fabulous. She used to live in Cincinnati, and I got to know her in person because we lived we could hang out. But then she moved to Pittsburgh, and I haven't had a chance to see her. And of course, we used to be on the TV show together. So she's really a lot of fun. So anyway, she submitted this to me when I was at Crochet Magazine, and I bought it. I bought it from this proposal. So her company name, this says Crochet Tots to Teens Proposal. So it was the chapter in the magazine that I was, like, you have certain features in a magazine that run like every month or every issue. And I had one section that was called Tots to Teens. Well, she submitted this to the Tots to Teens section. So that was helpful for me because I automatically knew, oh, well, that'll help me fill that hole in my Tots to Teens section. Excuse me. So this is how you do an inspiration photo, friends, right here. So you can't take a photo from Macy's that's a knit item and just remake it. exactly as it is. You can't. That's cheating. It's not ethical. But if you take, oh, I like this mood, I like the cream, I like the drape, I like the neck, I like the sleeve, and this is the inspiration that led me to think of this. That is how you take inspiration from something that's already been made and you make it your own. So then she came up with this, and she had the inspiration. This is what inspired her. Her suggested title was the Seneca striped pullover. She has the notes here. Sweater is an oversized poncho with seams stitched in for bat wing sleeves. Sweater is lightweight and moves with the body. Fabric is a mix of lace and solid stitch patterns and stripes. And she says the stitch is lace triangles with post stitches, and the yarn is Cascade Venezia Sport. And here is a photo of her swatch that she was proposing. Here's the solid section, and then here's the lacy section. Okay, so there's a lot of information on this one page. And so from that, and she's fantastic, and I trust her. So it was easy to buy it. And this is what she made. So there you go. Looks just like the picture. So with crochet design, your reputation is everything. It's everything. You have to be able to execute what you say you're going to be able to do it well, and meet the deadline. The deadlines are often really short. So you don't want to submit 5 things to the magazine because you may not have time to make 5 things if they accept all 5 things. So you have to be able to execute what you say you're going to do and do it on time. That way you build a reputation, and then they'll keep hiring you. Then when the blue folder comes across their desk and the editor gets excited because, oh, Ellen Gormley has a new design, like, oh, yay, I can trust her. Like, I've got a hole to fill, and I know that she'll do a good job and she'll do her best and it'll be great. And the same with Robin. Like, oh, I trust that even if it doesn't come out exactly like the picture, like, I don't care. She's going to do a great job. You know, it'll be okay. Other designers are kind of a risk. And I don't like taking risks, or I didn't like taking risks too many in a magazine, because then if something is really bad, it has to drop out. So this is what happens. So you send in, you get the call, you sign up for an editorial calendar, you get the email that says it's time to do a design, you make a 1-page proposal with all your design things on it, you mail it in or email it depending on which company it is. Right now with Interweave, they're doing the email submission, so you make sure and fill out the form, you make sure to follow their submission guidelines, you mail it, you email it in, you wait until their decision deadline is. They sometimes ask you to make it in a completely different yarn or brand or weight. Absolutely. Yep. It's, yeah. So yes. So they have a decision deadline. They spend a week or whatever figuring out all the colors and yarns and stuff. And then they email you and they say, okay, we are accepting your Venezia sweater, but we need it in blue, and instead of worsted weight, it needs to be DK, and instead of this brand, we need this brand, and the deadline is still the same. So Robin, I know, is a structural engineer, so she does all the math ahead of time. So to change the gauge, to change the yarn, to change the weight of the yarn could seriously alter her plans, but she has to be able to pivot and go with it and redo the math. Okay, now I never did the math until after. And that's the difference between a mechanical, technical brain and the more organic brain. It's okay. Both are needed. So then she would say, yeah, and then that's when they offer you a price. They'll say, oh, we want your sweater, we want it in DK weight, we want this yarn, we want this color, we want these 5 or whatever sizes, and we're offering you X amount of dollars. And then you say yes. And then you, usually the editor of the magazine either instructs you on how to get the yarn, or they contact the yarn company for you and say, I've already emailed XYZ yarn company and they're sending out plum, rain, color, however many skeins that you said in your proposal that you think you need. And I used to just add one for a swatch. No, they won't. So if you buy your own company, the magazine is not going to reimburse you for the yarn. No. But the editor will be like, I've already contacted XYZ yarn company and they're mailing the yarn to you. You'll have it in a week and then you can get started. So hopefully you have a swatch of that in your basket already so you can make a new swatch and calculate the math before the yarn actually arrives. Otherwise, you have to wait for the yarn to arrive, make your swatch, calculate the math, do it right, make the item, and ship it back in by the deadline. Okay, the deadline might only be a month or 6 weeks. It might be short. So making a blanket, and which was my favorite thing, you gotta hustle. You gotta hustle in a hurry. But the good thing about a blanket is, like if you made your swatch in a worsted weight or a DK weight or whatever you made your swatch in, likely it's not as critical to get the math right as a garment and shaping. Okay, so here's another submission, but it's really good too. So I don't want to, I'll save that for another time. Here's one by Rebecca Velasquez, gorgeous Rebecca Velasquez, and I'll link her too. So here's her. She's got just a little sketch. She's got a photo. She shows how to do the shaping. Again, a title, the yarn, a title of what she's calling it, her name and logo. The hook, the yarn, the gauge, like the sizes she's proposing to make it in, the construction, top is made in 2 pieces, front and back and seamed, and then like a little, they call it pattern romance. It's like, ooh, Summer Breeze yarn is the perfect, simply perfect for cruise wear. The sheen and texture are all about fun and luxury. Like, editors get so tired of writing romance that it's really nice to have somebody like get it started for you. So that's really helpful. She even has some suggestions here on how to style it for the magazine, which is really helpful too. Wear it dressy and float it over a silk shell for an evening, you know, like, so that's really helpful too. I missed your question, Christina. I'll go back and read the comments and watch the video again and take notes about all the things that I want to add into a PDF for you so that we can get that together. But anyway, here's Rebecca's, and where is it? Where is her? I got it, Rebecca. I want to show you because it's so beautiful. Oh, don't tell me I misplaced it on this stack of desks. Be organized. Oh, there it is. Okay. The cover of the magazine. Gorgeous. Okay. So absolutely stunning. So, so you don't want to make the entire item ahead of time. So if you're like, I don't know if I can make this tank top, so I'd better try making the entire thing first before I submit, which I did a lot when I was a brand new designer to make sure that I really could do what I said that I could do. And I'm like, I need to make this tank top to make sure I really can. And I made it in a specific yarn. That was on me. That was my buck. I had to buy the yarn. And then if they wanted that actual item for the magazine, they don't pay you back for the yarn. But most of the time they would change the yarn anyway and you'd have to remake it because they're trying, that's another tip for you. When you're submitting to a magazine, look at the advertisers in the magazine and choose yarns from those advertisers for your submissions, okay? Don't choose yarn that nobody's ever heard of, that has never been an advertiser in the magazine and is only sold in one boutique shop in one little small town, because if they're not an advertiser, like the editor has to choose projects that go with the advertisers first. I mean, they're the ones paying the bills. So you gotta put them in the magazine. That's the deal. And then if there's a special section in the magazine, like one skein or one and done or indie dyer corner or something, then you can choose yarns that are a little more special or unusual. But most of the time they're hoping that these magazines are national and maybe even worldwide magazines, so they want yarns that people from all over the world or all over the country at minimum can get. So like, while you might love your friend who's an indie dyer and she does fantastic work, but she can only make 30 hanks per month or something, like that's not gonna work to satisfy what the magazine needs. So anyway, okay, what else do I need to tell you today? I mean, that's already kind of a lot. Do you have any questions you want to pop in for me before I wrap up this particular session? So let me see what my notes were here. Okay, so don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe while I'm waiting for some questions to come in. And if you don't mind, share any video of mine with someone else as kind of a thank you for this information that I'm giving you for free. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and watch this video, and I'm gonna put all of this information plus checklists and a list of tech editors to hire if you want to publish yourself or publish independently or do an ebook. Oh, publishing an actual book should be another video. That's a whole different process. How to sketch when you can't draw, all of that stuff, I'm going to put in a PDF if you guys are interested. And that PDF, I've put a link on my website, ellengormley.com, under the shop tab. And for any of you here who are here in this video, if you want that, you can pre-order it for $29.95. But it's going to be all the same information that I'm giving you for free, except it's going to have like checklists and some email lists of like tech editors who I trust. If you want that, go to ellengormley.com and hit under the shop tab, and I'll just give you all of the notes in a nice tidy package of everything we've talked about. And if you don't, it's fine. Just watch videos and like and thumbs up and share, and that would be terrific. So what's coming up next on the channel is Wednesday. This coming Wednesday is going to be another mosaic stitch is coming up on Wednesday. And we're going to continue with Summer of Babies. Hopefully that blanket will be ready to roll by next Saturday. So a week from yesterday. That is the plan. So if you have more design questions, which I'm sure you will, then ask them in the comments below, and I can either do another follow-up video live stream like this to answer a lot of those questions. And I'll add them to the PDF also. The PDF, by the way, is going to be a pre-order, and I'm going to have that for you July the 1st, because I want to add in all the questions that you guys have from this video, and if we do another live stream. So it's all the information I'm giving you for free. You can still get everything for free. You don't have to buy anything. But if you want the information in a tidy little package, I'll have it for you if you wish to buy it. No strings attached, no big deal. Let's see, what else? Is there anything else? Oh, we probably ought to talk about like how to submit to, that's fine, thank you. We probably ought to talk about how to submit to a yarn company, because you can do that as well. And how to, if you guys are interested in books, we can do that as well. Also, we didn't talk about the business aspects of crochet, and you guys, nobody asked me how much you make. And so I'm sure you're dying to know some of these business questions that you really need to know. So we can go through some of that too. So ask your questions, ask away. I'll answer them. I'll answer them all. I'll answer them down below. How to submit to a yarn company, you'd like to know that. Okay, I feel like we're running long. It's almost 45 minutes now, so I might do another live stream And let me get some things together for you so I can be prepared for that. So yarn companies, I'm making a note. But I'm going to watch this video again later and like take notes on everything I promised you so that I get that all included and make sure that I had all your questions. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for today, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your attention. Please like, subscribe, watch, share, all that. Add your comments and questions below. And go watch that. Did you see the new video that I made about the ear saver tie? Go watch that. Maybe share that with some medical staff people. And I'll see you on the next video.